Guys, burn the ship. We got 2 guests with us today. Pretty seasoned business guys. Appreciate you guys coming. Yep. I'm going to let you guys introduce yourself. Tell me your name. Tell me your company's name. And then tell me how you guys are connected. Okay. So we'll start with you, Jeff.
Hey, I'm Jeff Stone. I'm with Lead Lab Magnet, and we are a digital marketing agency and funding company. And we help companies obviously grow their business via digital marketing. And so what we did was we actually have a relationship with Anton, and when we met was look through a mutual. My partner Eric Reagan has a relationship with Anton,
sure.
And we ended up just sitting down with him one day and talking about his business. And his business was really a great idea to really inject a digital marketing strategy.
Sure.
So we're going to help him as he gets more schools and more relationships. We're going to help him go in there and help spread the good word, get the merchandise sales up, get the concession sales up, and help those schools really drive camaraderie and community within our marketing campaigns.
Cool. Anton, tell me about yourself.
Yeah, grew up in small town South Georgia. Sports has been a passion of mine since day one.
There you go.
My mom always got really upset with me because I couldn't learn my multiplication tables, but I could tell you the starting lineups and the batting averages from the Braves from all the way down. So sports has been a passion of mine. So I let that passion become really what I do for a living.
Sure.
And so I've had the opportunities to work with great organizations from the collegiate to the NBA to the Major League Baseball. And so we just recently, a couple years ago, just ventured out and started a business on our own called Box Seat.
Cool.
And it's a sports branding company that literally works with high schools, colleges, athletes, and through the apparel marketing industry. So.
Cool. And you do when you sign a school to do their apparel, are you signing each sport? Are you signing if you sign the basketball team, do you get the football team, or is it different at every school?
It's different at every school. We have the capabilities to work with every school and every team, every sports team. That's the beauty of what our company does. And so some of the schools use us for multiple sports. And as we continue to, as I say, impressed with our services,
sure.
It seems like more and more teams are coming along to the point where we're getting the entire school business.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And how did you meet? You met him through your business partner Eric.
Yep.
Yes.
Tell me how that transaction went, because I think the most important thing is to understand our market out there and our people that are watching our podcast are really looking for things like hints and like how did you screw up, and then what did you do really well, and we're going to get to a lot of those questions in a minute of how'd you do well, what did you screw up on, what do you wish you would have done better, and that kind of thing. But Jeff was actually when we did a podcast together, he was the only one that could tell me what Burn the Ship was. He didn't understand, so I'm gonna let you kind of tell why we named it Burn the Ship, because you understood right away.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it's kind of ironic because when we started this business, I told Eric, I said, hey man, we're using the burn the ship mentality.
Yeah.
And he said, what is the burn the ship mentality? I said it was Cortez.
That's right.
Cortez conquered South America, and his plan was he moored all his ships offshore, and then he brought everybody off the ships, brought all the supplies off the ships, and then sent several men out there and burned the ships because we only have one choice. And that is, two choices really, either to fail or succeed. And they obviously,
which in that case is die or conquer.
Or die or conquer. That was it, right? And they conquered. So
yeah. So we loved the name, and really it was me and Bailey and Chris were talking. We're like, yeah, we got to come up with a name. And he's like, or we were talking about doing the podcast and how we're going to do it early on in COVID, and my business partner goes, yeah, burn the ship. Let's go all in, And Bailey goes, I think that should be our name. And I was like, that's a good name. So that's kind of how we started. But really, what we love is to bring businesses in, both of y'all. And how did y'all meet each other? Because every business is trying to meet somebody else to further their business, help that client out, and then possibly get them a client. And that's kind of the goal here at Burn the Ship and MP Group is we don't want transactional relationships. We want ongoing relationships where it's you're giving and you're taking. So tell me how you started the business out of the gate.
So out of the gate, we started out as a basic like screen printing and embroidery shop. And coaches would come in and say, hey, I need 100 t-shirts for our team. I don't care what the shirt is, the feel, the touch. I don't care less as long as it has our high school and the name on it.
Right.
Then all of a sudden, a week later, another coach comes in, and then another. And all of a sudden, my partner and I were looking, it's like, hey, there's an opportunity there, and these guys, they're more worried about the X's and O's.
Sure.
Let us take over that apparel need, and we just created programs where it's like, all right, coach, here's your
Here's
your
the
plan.
package, yeah.
And so it turned it into a branding process.
Sure.
And so now all of a sudden you're branding the high school and
Right.
the importance of, as you know, high school is a huge business now.
Of course it is.
And so now we've created a brand for that team and for that school. And now we do all the work for that coach. And he's just like, he or she's like, please.
Now, when you first started, somebody could come in there and get a family reunion T-shirt if they wanted
100%.
to, right?
Yeah.
And are you now exclusively doing high school sports?
That's right. Yeah. So we're doing, we work with high schools, we work with the colleges. We left the ceiling off
Right.
because we want to continue to develop and to grow as this industry continues to grow.
Sure.
And so right now we really just start out just with basic relationships that we've had in the past where we grew up with someone who's now a football coach
Right.
or a cheerleading coach or a principal at the school. And that's who we just picked up the phone and started calling.
Sure.
And they're like, yeah, come talk to us. And that's how it, over time, it kind of developed. More and more schools came about. And that was just from that ground level marketing
Sure.
and just picking up the phone and say, hey, buddy,
We
good
got a
to see ya.
relationship.
How's your mom and them?
That's
As,
right.
You know, and then all of a sudden it developed into a relationship.
What do you feel like you messed up on right at first?
Not being patient.
Okay.
I'm all gas, no brakes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just
I understand
wanna
that attitude.
Yeah, so I just want to go. And I think we really we started out without even having a business plan.
Sure.
And it's like, oh, we can do this and we can do this. And we overpromised and underdelivered
Sure.
on a lot of things. So we had to reset and say, hey, this could be really something special, but we want to be something different than what they've been used to in the past.
Of course.
And so ours is a lot of relation. We want to build partnerships with the schools, but also what we realize coming from a small town USA, it's about relationship with the school, but also with the community as well. And how can we highlight the school, but also the student athletes who are actually sons and daughters of the people in the community.
course.
And so we really had to, and it's really my fault because I was full tilt.
That's true.
And so we just had to reset and create a awesome plan that will sustain us for future growth.
That's right. What do you feel like you do really great at?
I think the cool thing about our story is we're backed by over 30 years of experience in the industry.
Sure.
And what we do is we've been in the front offices of Major League Baseball and NBA and worked with collegiate colleges who are pretty well known throughout this in our region. And what we've done is we've taken what we've learned in those front offices and duplicated it and brought it to that lower level of a high school and small college.
Sure.
And I think that's been the most important thing for us is really duplicating, but also fine tuning it to the point where it's not as overwhelming for the schools and the coaches, but it's really just relationships, just kind of walking them through this process.
Sure.
And creating opportunities where they can return on investment is there where it wasn't there
Before, yeah.
before. So
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about competition because I love talking about competition. So you really have to know your competition. So why would somebody, beyond the relationship you build, why would somebody switch to a box seat and not use the person they've been using
forever, right?
Yeah.
So what we believe is there's a screen printer and embroidery on pretty much on every corner,
Of course.
and so what we do is we really walk through and set up a program where we look out for the best interests of the consumer, our clients, in a sense of setting them up for financial gain. Because when you think about it in the past, all they care about is spending money to make a jersey,
Sure.
or spending money to make a T-shirt. How can we, as a company, spending money on a T-shirt, how can we return that into making money for the schools? How can
Sure.
we put money back into the pockets of the schools and the athletic programs? And
Walk me down that road. How do they do it?
So the cool thing about it is we have 4 divisions of our company. The first one is teams, where we work with the teams. We can provide on-field your jerseys, your equipment, whatever you need to be successful on the field.
Sure.
And then we also provide opportunities for team-issued gear, whether it's preseason workout gear, your practice, your travel gear, whatever it needs to be. We offer that at quite honestly, the best prices they're ever going to get.
Yeah.
Because it's not about making the best margin, because we see that that relationship long term.
Yeah, volume.
Volume, right, exactly. And so the other cool thing that we do is through our apparel division is where we set up literally an apparel package or an offering to the booster clubs in which they can turn around and sell to their team, their fans,
And they
their
mark
community,
it up,
and they can do 100%. Their market for their return investment is quite large.
That's great.
And the cool thing about it is we set up their website, we run their website, we run the inventory. So all they have to do is nothing.
Yeah.
And just say, hey, just go and check out this website. Here's our online store dedicated to our school, and 100% of the proceeds go back to the school.
And do you guys do the fulfillment of the products too?
We do.
Oh, man, that's big.
Yeah, so we design the logos. We design all the apparel look. We create the whole, I guess, the apparel package for men, women's, kids, whatever they need for the ballpark. We fulfill it. We make it. We run the inventory. We manage the inventory. They don't have to do anything, and we ship it out.
That's great.
Yeah.
That right there takes a lot of it. Let me ask you this, because right now it sounds like majority, and it really is kind of for every business is
Sure.
at first you're dealing with already relationships that you established, your family, your friends, that kind of thing. But then you get to the next level, and I know every business, I've gone through it, everybody's gone through it, is how do I get business that is not from that relationship? And this is where Jeff comes in because he does digital marketing. How is digital marketing going to help Box Seat? And I'll let Jeff kind of go back and forth on this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, once the Box Seats establish a relationship with the school, then we'll come into that relationship, and what we'll do is capitalize on the actual events that are taking place, whether it's baseball, football, tennis, and we'll put a geofence around those locations. And then we can, when everybody walks in with a telephone at one of those events, we now are pushing merchandise, we're pushing concession stands, we're doing all the things to drive revenue back into the school.
Yep.
We could even push the booster club and where the website is. We can do all kinds of different things with those display ads with links in them. So once you walk into the school, now you've got, and you're watching your son or daughter play football.
Sure. And
you say, hey, listen, we've got a immediate promo. Come on down to the concession stand and buy a hat, any kind of paraphernalia from the school, jerseys, that kind of thing, at 50% off or something like that.
Yeah.
Motivate those sales to come in. So that, again, creates a monetary value back to the school again.
So would your client be the school then?
Yes, our client would be the school.
Would be the school. So we're talking about maximizing volume with the clients that you already have,
right.
Not bringing you more high schools, not necessarily, correct?
Not necessarily, but that relationship should be noted when Anna's talking to the high school.
Sure.
Right. Is saying, listen, we don't only just do this to build your merchandise and do that stuff. We can actually bring you a marketing campaign that will drive more of this and push more revenue, Jen, right inside of the actual events that are happening every single year in, year out.
I mean, I think that's so important because, as I did a networking group this morning, and one of my things was setting goals, and it was really picking up Burn the Ship and doing more podcasts, right? Because the problem is or not, it's not a problem, but the issue is that you go, okay, when you're first starting your business and you're watching TV, all these commercials, man, I really wish I could afford a commercial.
Sure.
Right? But it's not feasible.
It's too expensive.
It's too expensive, right?
Right.
I'm not a $1 billion company. I'm not a multi-million-dollar company. I'm a small guy. I probably do $1 million in sales a year. I do $2 million, or I do $500,000. You just don't never know who you're talking to, right? Or where they are in the country. But I find it to go. So I say, why aren't you doing podcasts? Why aren't you using your phone to do a 30-second clip about something that you're doing that day in your business? Because it's free.
It's free.
It's free. And that is how most people in the demographics of, 18 to probably 30 are getting most of their stuff anyway. So they're not going to the concession stand necessarily and buying a shirt.
Yes.
Right.
They see them on the hanger outside, but if I can hit them with a text message, or I can hit them with an email, or geofence them and do something, then they might go down there and buy it, or they'll just buy it from their phone right there and not go down there.
They could, yeah.
So you kind of got to do, Grandma and Grandpa are probably going to go down the concession stand,
right.
But the brother of the guy playing football looks at his mom's like, I want a shirt like that, and she's like, oh, I just got an email, or I got a text message, right?
Yeah.
It takes advantage of the experience. It
Sure.
adds to the experience. So the excitement to go into a game this is just say, hey, when you go to a ball game, it's I need a hot dog, I need a T-shirt, I need a ball cap, because that's the overall experience of attending a game. That's what we're just capitalizing on with Jeff and his career, is how can we bring that, I guess, experience of attending a ball game and turning it into a profit-generating opportunity for the schools. And that's kind of how it got started, and it just kind of developed over time and over through conversations like, hey, this is something really, really special.
And you're Alabama and Georgia right now, and are you just wanting to focus on those two states and really, because there's thousands of schools.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So there's plenty just to stay there.
Yeah, no, it's one of those deals where we kind of started here because we know here.
Yeah.
We grew up in this area, growing up in South Georgia, and we had a conversation before the podcast. It was an instant connection that you and I had based on a very small town in South Georgia.
That's right.
And so that's kind of where we started. But the beauty of what Box Seat can do, it can be duplicated in all 50 states. And all of a sudden, we started just writing a list of all the people that we know who are in the coaching field or in the athletic director. And all of a sudden, it's like, hey, I know this person in Virginia and then Texas and Florida. And all of a sudden, that's kind of where we started in local regional. But now as we move into 2024, it's like, okay, we feel pretty confident in what we're doing that we can duplicate it in other states.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's another. We're getting into like referrals. So what's a good referral for you? Is it's just a head coach, athletic principal, parent, booster club president? Who's the best for you?
It is funny because it kind of goes kind of hand in hand with our fourth division of our company is media. Well, you and I are sitting here doing a podcast, kind of sharing about our experience in the business world. And what we're wanting to use, a very similar tactic, is doing interviews with coaches, athletic directors that we worked with in the past, to where we can say the experience that we've had together, and kind of letting them share their story with their relationship with us is how we can kind of increase the business as well. A great referral from an athletic director or a coach is that, hey, these guys made our life so much easier while generating much needed revenue for our athletic department. That's a vote of confidence. That's huge.
That's it, right? Like, hey, they're actually making money. We're not just writing a check. Yeah, that's it. It's we're actually bringing revenue with Lead Lab and we've got just different components that can help it out, help you grow. Because really, that if you a check's fine, they got to write that check anyways,
they
right?
They got to write a check anyway.
So they're writing it to somebody.
And that's the beauty of it. It's like they have to write a check regardless. Now, how can we make that check come back to them?
That's right.
In a
That's
more
wonderful.
way.
How do I get a hold of you? What's your website?
BoxSeatLLC.com. We're now, like I said, we've had to restructure everything, which is an exciting thing because that means we're growing. So BoxSeatLLC.com. All of our information is there, our contact, our email, my personal cell phone, my partner Jeff as well. And if anybody needs to get in touch with us, we'd love just to have that opportunity to talk with you.
That's awesome. Thanks for coming, Jeff. I appreciate you bringing him.
You betcha.
And it's been awesome, man. I can't wait to do it again.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome.